everybody. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Karen Brent. I'm a chiropractor in Rolleston, New Zealand. My practice is Road to Wellness Chiropractic, and I'm an upper cervical chiropractor. So pretty much I focus on using your upper cervical, so this part here, to help correct a lot of different things going on in your body. So today I'm going to be talking a little bit about some chronic health issues, things like chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, migraines, chronic pain, vertigo, Meniere's disease, things like Bell's palsy, MS, Parkinson's. Again, anything that is a chronic issue and stems from the nervous system. Some of them are things that we can get rid of completely, some of them not so much. So again, if you have MS, we're not going to get rid of the MS, but we can definitely help the symptoms quite a bit. So let's take a step back for a minute and talk about what does all of these issues have in common. So how is chronic low back pain and MS, what do they have in common? Why am I even talking about these two things together? Okay, so the thing they all have in common, the nervous system. Okay, so pretty much every single thing our body does is dealt with through the nervous system. So again, the brain sends those signals to the rest of the body. If those signals are not getting there correctly, if there's some interference that is causing them to either be too intense of a signal, not intense enough of a signal, it is going to affect the way our body functions. End of story. That is just how the body works. Just like if you're on a cell phone and you lose or drop a signal, it doesn't work. That communication is not there. Our bodies are the same way. So what can we do about that? How can we change that? Well, that is where chiropractic comes in, specifically upper cervical chiropractic. So when we talk about upper cervical chiropractic, we're talking about focusing pretty much on this area here. So the occiput or skull, C1, which is the top vertebra, also known as atlas, and C2, the axis vertebra. And the reason why we focus on that area is that is a really key area. The lower brainstem actually sits right in that area. So if it's not functioning correctly, that part of the brain, the signals in the nervous system are not going to get there properly. There are centers in that part of the lower brainstem that control all of our cranial nerves. So it can affect our eyes, it can affect the inner ear, it can affect our swallowing. The vagus nerve, which is one of the main nerves through the body, it controls how our heart beats, how our lungs increase in volume and decrease in volume. It controls digestion. It controls pretty much everything. If that vagus nerve is irritated or it's interfered with in any way, it can create a huge number of symptoms, and it will vary from person to person quite a bit. We also have other centers in that part of the brain that control things like pain, pain intensity, how our brain interprets pain. We also have centers in that part of the lower brainstem that controls muscle activity. So we can see muscles that tighten for no apparent reason. We can see muscles that weaken for no apparent reason, just depending on how that part of the brain is being interfered with. So let's stop for a moment. If that part of the brain is being irritated and it happens to just be affecting, say, the parts that control the blood vessels and how constricted or how open they are, what will happen? Well, we may have too much constriction of the blood vessels. That can cause migraines. That can also cause Raynaud's disease, which is when fingertips or toes get really, really cold. So again, that's constriction of the blood vessels. What happens if that area gets too much blood flow? What if the area and that part of the brainstem signals for blood vessels to open too much? What happens then? Well, that can also cause headaches. So that's a big issue. What if that part of the brain is being affected and it happens to be affecting the nucleus of the cranial nerves that go to the inner ear? That would definitely affect things like balance, vertigo, Meniere's disease, So many people suffer from that. Even ringing in the ears is a huge one. The cranial nerves that go into the face, trigeminal nerve, that's an interesting one because depending on which fibers of the nerve that particular nerve is being affected, you can either have Bell's palsy, which is the muscles in the face are not getting the proper signal and actually don't have the same tension to them. So the face kind of droops a bit. Or it can affect the pain fibers of the trigeminal neuralgia, the sensory fibers, and become trigeminal neuralgia, which is a really horrible condition where you get shooting pain through the face, jaw, teeth. It can be really debilitating. So if we take some of that interference and some of that irritation from those centers of the brainstem that control that nerve, we can make some difference in some of those symptoms. Same thing with MS, muscular sclerosis, or multiple sclerosis. That is a lot of times a really debilitating disease for a lot of people. Depending on where in the nervous system is being affected, they can have a huge array of symptoms. Anything from pain, numbness, tingling, muscle weakness, all different types of issues. If we can eliminate as much interference in the nervous system as possible, we have a chance of changing some of those symptoms. We're never going to get rid of the disease. The disease is there, but we can quite often decrease the number of symptoms that people are having, whether it's the pain, the muscle weakness, or even the numbness and tingling. Again, it just depends on where in the nervous system they're having the issues. And getting that nervous system functioning as much and as optimally as possible can make quite a difference for people. Again, that lower brainstem that sits right here, that controls back into the brain. So if that is being irritated, we can definitely see things like headaches going on, migraines. So a lot of times we can alleviate that pressure through here and get people to have fewer migraines, less intense. I personally am a migraine sufferer. I also get trigeminal neuralgia. And I know for me personally that when I'm adjusted, I don't have migraines nearly as often. I've actually gone several years without having a migraine. And it has definitely made a difference in the trigeminal neuralgia and how frequently and how intense it is. So keep in mind, chiropractic can make a huge difference with chronic pain issues and a lot of neurological disorders. Again, we may not get rid of the disorder depending on what it is. It may still be there, but we can absolutely make a difference in how some of those symptoms present and how intense they are. So if you're suffering from any of these things or you know somebody who is, get in touch. Let's see if we can do something about it. So, definitely get in touch. You can always contact me through my website, www.roadtowellness.co.nz, or contact me on Facebook. I'm always more than happy to talk. Have a great day, guys.